Hello and welcome to this new lecture on the process to create a color generator. In the last lesson, we covered the concept of scroll view and how to use it to add a scroll bar to our application. Today, we'll do a mini project where we'll examine color pickers and talk about how to make a color generator. Our whole work to date has been focused on learning how to use React Native, and we did not really use enough JavaScript. So to grasp the function of JavaScript in all React Native's applications a little bit better, this new lecture will help us to do so. So we'll now be working with JavaScript to create a color generator. Now, if you look at the application interface, you can see that two pages have been created. One is a login page, while the other is a sign-up page. Names are used to construct these pages. These pages are not functionally sound, so to solve this issue, we're going to create a color picker generator. To do this, you must first navigate it in order to establish a color picker generator. So for this reason, create a new screen with the name picker.js. Now execute the code, RAFCE, to build a format. The color picker page has now been developed, but it relates to React. Now, delete the picker.js file's contents, open the signup page and copy the content. Now paste the content of the signup page into the picker.js file. Simply change the component's name from signup to picker at this point. Now substitute the picker screen for the signup screen. The rest of the information will stay the same. At this point, nothing will be displayed in the application. Because the picker.js file needs to be imported into the app.js file. Therefore, import picker first into the app.js code. The next step is to build a screen. Copy the signup components screen tab and then paste it beneath the screen tab. Substitute the word color picker with signup. From now on, use the picker component in its place, not the signup component. You can now see that the picker screen has been created with the name color picker when you save the file and open a browser. We now want to use a different color picker icon. To do this, start by opening your browser, open the MUI website and search for material icons. Now type color picker into the website's search field, and you can see that this page has a color picker icon. Paste this icon into the material icons tag after copying it. Okay, so in a previous lecture on icons, we covered that. When importing a component into the code, you should make sure that the component is written in lower cases. Remember to always check before running the code. So when you save the file and open the app, you should see that the color picker icon is now printed above the color picker tab. Now, whenever we create a color generator, it will only be displayed in the color picker page and nowhere else. You won't need to run each file separately when I give you the source code, because I'll give you the source code for each section basically. Okay. We'll now develop a different color picker generator. So go to the picker.js file now and delete the content within the view tag. Remove the specified text color as well from the styles function. Save the file now, then open the application to see the color picker screen in its most basic form. Next, let's create a button. So in order to clearly see the color changing effect, build a box, make a button in the picker.js code. So color picker should be the button's name. You can now notice that a button with the name color picker has been generated in the application when you save the file and open it. Next, create a box beneath this button. When you click on the color picker button, a box will appear where you can see the selected color. For the next part, create a new view. Now add a straightforward text to this view tag. Style this text simply without adding anything to it. Change the text's background color to gray. After that, add 100 pixels to both the width and the height. Then, to create a space between the button and the box, add 20 points to the top margin. Make the boundary radius 5 pixels. The corners of the box would be curved if you use the border radius. Save the file now, then open the program to see the box that has been generated beneath the color picker button. However, there is no gap between the button and box due to a typo in the code. Although the spelling of margin top was incorrect, the problem has been fixed. Okay, so choose a width and height of 300 pixels for a better look right now. Add 50 to the left edge. Save the file with a margin top setting of 20 rather than 5. Once you open the application, you will notice that the box beneath the color picker button has been updated, but it still lacks a center. So save the file with a margin left setting of 60. Now the box is properly centered and aligned. Okay, so to check whether the color picker button is operating correctly or not, we will now write some methods. So in the picker.js file, first declare a variable const with the name random color, then add a callback function. Include 3 more variables in the callback function, respectively colored red, blue, and green. Apply the math random JavaScript method following this. So to obtain random values, apply the math random element. The red variable should now be copied and pasted twice. Put green instead of red. After that, replace red with blue in the final variable. Red, green, and blue are chosen because they make up every color in the RGB color system. It can be seen up to 256 pixels. Therefore, the random value will be multiplied by 256 according to these codes. Do a console now with a random color. Save the file now. Once you've saved the file, we need to create a push button or a click event. So it indicates that when you click the color picker button, the event should be called. Now add a button tag on the press event. When you use the press event, it's required that you use the callback function with it, because we also want to receive an alert when the onPress event is called. Callback uses the alert on variable, i.e. random color. For this purpose, you must import a component with the name alert. Save the file now, then launch the program. An alert will appear on the screen when you click the color picker button. So due to the lack of numbers corresponding to the alert format, the alert is blank and contains no numbers. Now that the function with the name random color is being called in the log, you can see that our function is working properly by opening the console. Create a function now that will cause the RGB colors to appear on the screen when you hit a button. It implies that each time you click the color picker button, you will receive a new value. Go back to the callback method, delete the console, and enter the red, green, and blue return values. Use template laterals to complete the return first. Use the $ symbol and the RGB color scheme. The $ symbol can be used in JavaScript to assign or return any variable or object. In other terms, as a JavaScript identifier, the $sign simply identifies an object in the same way that the name or variable does. The $sign designates variables, functions, properties, events, and objects. Okay, so this is how you should define the $sign. Put another $ symbol and some green text inside brackets. Use the $sign once more and add the color blue in brackets. 3 more items have been added in response. Save the file now, then open the browser. Now, when you click the color picker button, an alert should appear with a variety of colors, but the numbers are incorrect. There also is an excessive amount of numbers because the math approach multiplies a random digit by 256 before printing it in an alert notification. The color value should be 0 if you delete 256 and then click the color picker button. Okay, we now anticipate that the color picker will select a random value without increasing it significantly. It implies that we wish to include numbers like 40, 80, 90, 22, and so forth. The math random method statement now, then paste it between the math floor methods brackets. Repeat this process for all three colors to use the math floor method. Go to the application after saving the file. You can now see that the color picker button is working correctly when you click on it. You will always see the values of various colors when you click the color picker button. The next part of this process is to develop a feature that will cause the box's color to change along with the alert when we click the color picker button. Okay, so to do this, we need to build another variable, make a const variable and call it onepicColorPress. After that, call the random color variable and create a new variable in the callback function with the name newColor. It implies that a random color variable should give us a new color. Use setBoxColors after this. We are using set since hooks are required if you wish to perform a dynamic action. Actually, I forgot that hooks are required in this situation. Therefore, import the useState hook first into the picker.js file. Use the hook in the constPicker variables function since it has been imported. Declare a const variable to be used with the useState hook. Use an array to specify box color and write box color values. Choose gray as the useState color as a default after that. Before I explain why we are using gray specifically, I'll copy the alert function from the return function and paste it in useState. Because the letter B in the box is capitalized when it should be small, an error has occurred. Let's fix the mistake and move on. Now copy the box's color from the array and replace the gray background color with it. As useState already uses the color gray, it will be the default color when a user opens the default app. Yellow will be the application's default box color if you select it in useState and save the file. Now, if you select the color using the color picker button, the box does not display the color correctly. Because a random color is still chosen for the alert function, the code is not working properly. To fix this mistake, duplicate the pickColor class variable and replace the random color variable with it in the alert method. Save the file now, then launch the program. The color of the box will now change when you click the color picker button, but the app is showing two notifications because the alert is applied both when you push the color picker button and when you release it. Okay, so clearly you don't need to respond with an alert. Remove the alert from the return and give it the title random color before saving the file. Go to the application now. When you click the color picker button, the box's color will change and you'll only receive an alert once. The color selector is now operational. The color picker button just notifies you of the color you are going to use whenever you click on it. The color of the box will change when you click the OK button in the alert. Thus, without much customization, we built a color generator for this mini task or mini project. And yeah, so to create a more visually appealing box in your application, you can use a border radius of 50 rather than 5. You should know that by using this method, you can generate any form of data. You can just use these values in text form if you don't want the color values displayed in the alert. So all these topics have already been covered in this new lecture. This basically concludes our lecture. So of course there is an additional method by which you can alter the color of the screen. So I'll just leave it up to you so you can find out for yourself how to do it. Don't worry, it's very easy actually. If not, the source code for altering the color of the screen will be given to you separately, allowing you to learn how to use codes to do so. So yeah, that's it basically. Try first changing the screen's color without using any source code. And in any case, the source codes will be sent to you if you are unable to complete the task correctly. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this lecture, and now on to the next one.